I didn't think it was going to be this hard. You think of the word documentary and it sounds very simple. It's almost in the word, document. It seems like you just have to be there with your camera and then that's what it is. I don't know. When I looked into it a bit more and I tried to form a more legitimate storyline that people will be able to follow, it hit me that like it wasn't going to be an easy task. I found myself watching so many videos, so many documentary tips, and the one thing that I found the most difficult to do was actually to find a proper idea where I could follow a story, where I could find interesting characters and make a story around a person or an action. And it's easy to just think of a documentary as just being right there in the moment, but there's just so much. There's an abundance of moments that you walk through, and it's difficult for me, or it's been difficult for me to try and find a story to make out of a very minuscule moment. But luckily I found out that this is the first step in the creative process, and the ideation, the preparation phase, it's said to be the longest. I feel like for me to make it easier for me, I'd have to go out into the wild and find a story. They talk about shower thoughts, and I was thinking about that a lot more, and I realized like creative ideas have this weird knack for coming at you in the most menial of tasks. You could be brushing your teeth and you'd get the idea for like the creative ideas have this weird knack for hitting you in the times when you feel like you're doing the least creative thing, so to speak. For example, you could be chilling at a park with your friends, not thinking about the ideas that you want to have, and that's when it would hit you. They speak about this an incubation period where you would know what you needed to get done, or you would know what you want, and then you would just take some time to forget about it and let it sink into your subconscious. And I think that's what's happening right now. I feel like this is my metaphorical shower. So I'm hoping that because of this, the idea will come from this. I feel like I came out and this trying to forget about it, almost sleeping on the idea of wanting to make a documentary would help me, ironically, to find an idea for the documentary. Do you think you found an idea? Yeah, I'd like to think I found an idea, but the thing about ideas is that you only know if they're truly good once you get to test them out. How do you test if an idea is good? How do I know when an idea is good? So, well, I watched this video recently by this filmmaker named Mark Bone, and I really took a lot from him. And he basically split, the common idea into three main parts. So the first part was, do you have an interesting character? And I think I've got that covered.
Yeah, I decided to come outside today, get some fresh. People are looking at me weird. I'm also feeling a bit nervous. Didn't find any huge ass nature. Okay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I just got wrapped up with all these Owens now. Yeah. Just recording on campus, and then I stumbled upon these group of you guys know that procrastination story.
And then the next part spoke about a mission. does your character have a mission? Do they have a passion? And I think the mission was kind of straightforward. I think it was established probably in the very first few clips and the very first uh, entry that was given. Basically, the mission was and still is, to say the least, to make a documentary. And then the last question asked you, like, with the story that you have in mind, would you be able to follow the story to get to an end or a resolution? And that one was kind of difficult for me to extract because my character essentially doesn't have an ending, and it's difficult to make a story that doesn't have an ending. Like, all stories need to have some sort of ending, but then I started questioning my notion of what I thought an ending was, and I realized that an ending doesn't necessarily have to be the be all end all of the story. As much as these little film experiments don't have an ending or don't have to have an ending, my first attempt at making a documentary does have an ending. What's your one take from this experiment? What's my biggest take from the experiment? That's a good question. I think my biggest take from the experiment would be, when telling a story, be prepared to feed an entire village with one packet of Lay's. Is that good? Nice. Good.